40, it says that even the scripture or even this particular book that we are doing, it is called the Srimad Bhagavatam. The book itself is the Divine Lord. The Divine Lord is there in the book as well. So even if I take any holy scripture which is there, like say for example, this is Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a Bhagavad Gita, there are so many other scriptures. All those are representing God, but they are God itself. It's a literary incarnation. Literary incarnation. So do you understand what a literary incarnation is? The book is God. Alright? And that is the reason why in Maharashtra we consider the book as a pothi. Pothi means a holy book. Now, this holy book has to be revered. It has to be given its place. Now, how did this book come about? Srimad Bhagavatam came about when Vyasdev, which is an incarnation of Sri Krishna himself, gave this lesson to his son, Sukdev. Sukdev in turn gave it to Parikshit. Parikshit, when he was giving this lesson to Parikshit, there were a group of people around him and some of his disciples as well, Sukdev's disciples as well. Amongst them was this Sutta Goswami, Sutta. So Sutta heard it, and then Sutta went ahead and was telling a group of yogis over there this story. Okay, some of the sages over there. So I hope you get the point. The whole thing is divided like this, in this manner. So if the Divine Lord has written it himself, if you recollect, yesterday I was telling you, it is Ganesha who was the scribe. Scribe is a person who writes them. Okay. So Ganesha is given that particular, position, that he is the scribe. And Vyas Muni is the author. But author of what? Whose story? His own story as Sri Krishna and various other avatars. And this is, everything has to be looked at from that perspective. So, all this compilation happened. Now let us say, take the case of say Sai Baba of Shirdi. Alright. Now my neighbor's great-great-grandfather. I had a neighbor, Dabolkar. Okay. So Dabolkar's great-great-grandfather, that was Govindrao Dabolkar, who was also called Hemad Pant. He just compiled a whole load of stories and he called it as Sai Sat Charit. Alright? And Sai Sat Charit became very famous. So we call it as a Pothi. Likewise, Eknath Maharaj. You have heard of Eknath Maharaj. Eknath Maharaj is a great saint of Maharashtra. So in his case, his Gurudev was Janardhan Swami. Now he was instructed to write a scripture. So he wrote on Eknathi Bhagavat. Now what is Eknathi Bhagavat? It is another Gita. See, people may not understand this. Eknathi Bhagavat is another Gita. It is called Uddhava Gita. When Sri Krishna, in this book, Uddhava Gita is nothing but Srimad Bhagavatam's 11th canto. We are going to do it. We are going to understand it and do it much later. It is going to come right in the end. The reason why it is going to come to the end is everybody who is dying, just about to die also, are we not going to ask that person, can you give us some of your teachings, please? And Uddhava Gita is nothing but the way in which Sri Krishna has given his entire life summary. It's called the way of life. He said how I lived my life. I am going to give this entire explanation to Uddhava. Uddhava was one of his, kinsmen. So he gave it to him in the form of what we call today as Uddhava Gita. Now the Uddhava Gita is a very dense scripture, which is very difficult to understand. It also has one of my, very beautiful aspects, which is called my own guru is there. He is Dattatreya. Now Dattatraya's teachings are there in that. So this Uddhava Gita was given to Eknath Maharaj. He was told, can you decipher what is written over here? And that is how Eknathi Bhagavat came into the picture. Similarly, Ramayana also was done. It's the same thing. So Sant Jnaneshwar gave his thesis, whatever that it meant, in the form of Jnaneshwari. Jnaneshwari is the Bhagavad Gita itself. So you will find that these two saints, that is Eknath Maharaj gave Uddhav Gita and Jnaneshwar gave Bhagavad Gita. So these are two very important scriptures which you are doing. Now here also, what are we doing? We are doing the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam has to be considered as a very, very important scripture. And we have to consider as the divine itself, God itself. So don't be under the impression that it is not divine or anything like that. And every word over here has got a very, very deep meaning. I hope you get that point. So we had done this till this particular verse, and now we will continue the next verse onwards. So we are doing Srimad Bhagavatam, that is Canto 1, Chapter 3, Krishna is the source of all incarnations. We are doing verse 41 onwards. Sri Vyasadeva delivered it to his son, who is the most respected among the self-realized, after extracting the cream of all Vedic literatures and histories of the universe. Verse 42 says, Sukdev Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, in his turn delivered the Bhagavatam to the great emperor Parikshit, who sat surrounded by sages on the bank of Ganga, awaiting death without taking food or drink. Now, I have just now given you this entire understanding. Vyasadeva, okay, he is also called Krishna, by the way. And when he took birth, his job was only to give the explanation and split these entire scriptures into small bits. Please understand, today everybody is told you take a specialization, isn't it? Everybody in every word, whether it is taking up a job or whether you are taking up a stream. Let us say you are joining a college or a university or something. Are you supposed to specialize in some subject? So if I take up science as a subject, which is the broad definition, I can have physics, chemistry, biology and so many other things. So those are splitting up science itself. So what was Vyasadev's job? Vyasadev's job was to split up the Vedas, because Vedas by itself is a very dense, very, very difficult subject, and nobody can read the Vedas that way, and it is so difficult that it is literally impossible to understand in today's day and age. So what did he do? He split it up into various divisions, and every division was further divided. So like if I take a subject called physics, now in physics itself there will be so many subdivisions, isn't it? Now in that subdivision also I will specialize in one field. Okay, astrophysics is one of the field, let us say. So physics, astrophysics, and then there will be still further divisions in that. So if you actually look at it, the subject has to be divided so that every individual, now we have very little brains, you should know that. Our brains are not as depth as evolved like the first yuga. And because our brains are like this, what do we have to do? We have to take that everything by bit, little at a time. We don't have the grasping capacity. Please understand this. And that is the reason why Vyasadeva came into the picture. He split up everything, and then one of the important scriptures is called the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam has got so many parts. Now one of the parts is also called Mahabharata, by the way. If you actually look at it, it is a whole load of things. It is literally like science as the head. Okay? And then under it there are so many departments. So it's like that. So you will find in Mahabharata there is a further division, right? What is that further division? There is the Bhagavad Gita also. So can you see how this whole thing is? From one object you can make 100 other things, right? Similarly, Vyasadeva, he had to make it simple. So to make it simple, he broke it down and he made it into different subject matters. So there are different Vedas, and then Srimad Bhagavatam is one of them, Mahabharata is one of them. So like that, another further divisions were given. And everything is in the form of a poem. Everything, literally all the great scriptures are normally in the form of a poem. It's an epic. We call it a very long poem. It goes on and on and on and on and on like that. So there are more than 4-5 lakh verses in this. We actually don't know how many verses it is. Simply because when it was written, it was lost. Now you may say written. Now when I say written, it physically? No. There was a way of transmission. So I can transmit my knowledge to somebody else, and that somebody else can by heart it and pass it on to somebody else. Isn't that how we teach the birds also to sing? Right? We teach the parrot, no, say these words, say hello, good morning, this thing, that. If I can teach a bird and a monkey, you think I can't teach a human being? So I can teach a human being. Like that, there are human beings who were taught the scriptures, and these human beings who were taught the scriptures were told to pass it on to others. And that is how all these different people came into the picture. So you will find that there are Rigvedi Brahmans and all that. See, these are the people who by-hearted it. Later on, much later, because the memory became very weak, it got written, because writing came into the picture. When scriptures were physically there. Today, what has happened in this world? Today, the scripture, is it physical? It has become digital. So today, scriptures are digitized. I went to a very beautiful library. Saraswati Library is there. Okay. Now, this library which is there, it is under, in South India, it is there. Now, what happened over there was there are so many scriptures lying over there. Now, these scriptures, they will get lost because these are written on parchment paper and so on and so forth. All that doesn't stay. So when I personally visited this library, I saw all the scriptures are written in very beautiful language. Now again you have to understand the language in which it is written. Everybody is so particular about the language. Now if I am being told the scripture, do you think I will write it in Sanskrit? No. I don't understand a word of Sanskrit. What language do you think I will write it in? English. That is the language I know. I have some knowledge about one or two more languages, but I am not proficient in this. So for me to write that thing, it will be written in a particular language. So we should never become very particularly attached to a language. Oh, this was written only in this. I'm sorry. The Bible also, if you look at it, got written in one language, got translated it in another, and then another, and then another. And today it is in modern English. I can't say that Bible was written in English. Can I say those words? No. Likewise, I can't insist, no, this book was written only in Sanskrit. I can't say those words. Because today Sanskrit may not be known to people. Now, all this is a matter of concern to everybody. So we just have to let it be. Can you learn that in your own scripture, in your own language which you know? So learn it in the language that you know and understand. So the scriptures were written. So here there is a genesis of it and how it got percolated downwards. So Vyasdev was there, who told it to his son. That is what was mentioned. And his name was Sukhdev. Now Sukhdev in turn was roaming. He was an Avduta. So Avduta means basically free to air. When I say free to air, please understand what it means. Avadhuta, free to air. He could be roaming around naked also. And by the way, Sukhdev was naked. He would just roam around. Have you seen the Jain Munis also? Some of the Jain Munis from a particular community, they also do that. So it is allowed in the religion. They don't need a garment of themselves. So Sukhdev was also like that. He was roaming around. And when he was roaming around, what happened? He came across the last scion of this the dynasty, Arjuna and all those people. If you remember, Mahabharata had happened. Okay. And then the grandson was there. Parikshit was there. And he was bitten by that particular snake bird, the black one. And then he was lying over there. And he was not eating food or anything like that, not taking any nutrition. Nutrition. A very strange word, isn't it? So he was not taking anything. So he said, now I'm going to die. I have been cursed like this. So if he was supposed to die, He wanted to attain liberation. Why are you all sitting over here? Your ultimate aim in life, whether you like it or not, is not to be born again and again and again and again. You know that life of yours which is so miserable, do you want to be born again as the same person? I don't think so. The misery which everybody goes through from childbirth to death. Can you imagine how childbirth happens? It's the ugliest thing on earth, you know. Like you are in such a small place and then you come out. It's painful, traumatic for the child. Forget about the woman. The woman has been there for 20 years, 30 years or whatever. Now she is giving birth, but she is used to a pain a little bit. This is a newborn baby. The first thing that it goes through is pain, pain. Has it ever occurred to you that you are that person who was born in pain? Your pain is greater than that woman's pain. So don't, say that, oh, the child was born, is fine. No. The reason why he has to cry is because he got released in this world and it's the most miserable thing on earth. And imagine being put upside down for 9 months. Oh my God. And that too in water. Okay. That dirty water swirling with all those things, and your nose is there and your eyes are closed and your everything is closed. Even if you are put in a jail like this, you're going to get very upset about it. Even for one day. Even for 1 hour. If you are locked inside a toilet for 1 hour, you know how miserable you're going to be? Has it ever occurred to you? If the toilet's lock doesn't open for 1 hour and you're banging on the door, let me out, let me out, let me out. What is going to be the case? You're going to be miserable. And look at this child, poor thing. It is kicking the belly and saying, please let me out, please let me out, please let me out. Has it ever occurred to you like that? And you know, the parents are very happy. Oh, the baby kicked. Oh, the baby kicked. The poor fellow inside, or whatever that woman or girl inside, is saying, let me out, let me out. I am caught up in this swirling waters and all that. Think like that. So you be very careful. This kind of life you want again and again and again. Okay. Or have you seen the ladies' pouch? Okay. A pouch. Okay. Now when you have seen those ladies' purses, have you seen how the purses are made? Huh? They are made like the eggs of a cockroach. The egg of a cockroach is the design for a purse. It is like this with one handle. Right? Has it never occurred to you designing capabilities? The purse of a woman, normally when she carries a handbag, that hand purse, it is designed in a cockroach's, the way how a cockroach's egg is. Now imagine if you are in that egg. How is it to you? You're born as a cockroach? Yuck! Isn't that what you are going to say? So think about it. So the one criteria for becoming spiritual is to get released from this dirty life of ours. I don't want to be born again. I don't want to go through that childhood, the problems that I have. Again, when I get when I go to school and college, everybody beats me up. I go to college, then I have to study those stupid subjects which I hate from the bottom of my heart. And then I have to go and do the job, and there are so many political things. People treat me badly. How many things happen in your life? And then you have, maybe if you're a man, you have a wife, and if you're a woman, you have a husband, and those idiots are living together, making, oh yeah, he's my husband, he's my wife, but nobody cares for each other. Okay, the husband and the wife are just enacting a role. They actually don't love each other. When you think, when I say these words, think about it. You think the husband loves the wife and the wife loves the husband? I am sorry, you are mistaken. Love went out of the window the day they got married. So what happens to them? If one person dies, so let us say the husband dies, the wife will cry for 1 month, 2 months, 1 year, 2 years, God knows when, and then she will get remarried again. Oh, I met a new guy. I got married again. Same thing happens for the guy. The guy will say, oh, that poor thing, my wife died. She died of cancer. And then he finds another beautiful woman. Oh, I have found another girl. I'll get married to her. What love are you talking about in the first place? Nobody gives a damn. And marriage, children. Even the children don't even bother about you. Once you go, out in the world, have you noticed when you get out into the world, you hate your parents from the bottom of your heart? They told me to do this. Every day they were giving me idli dosa and all that. I hate that idli dosa. I want to eat today now all the new things in the world. I want to eat Western dishes. I want to try Chinese dishes. And then I want to be liberated. I want to go to the mountains. I want to travel. I want to trek. I will take my bike and go to the Himalayas. According to them, that is liberation. They want to be liberated. Taking your bike and going from here to Ladakh is not liberation, sir. You are just trying to make do. So this kind of nonsense is there in this world. So spirituality teaches you, get out of this life. Liberation is the thing. So Parikshit, who is lying over there, is telling, okay, Vyasdev's son, Sukdev, I want to get liberated. In the next 7 days, can you please liberate me? So he says the only way of liberation is listening to the Srimad Bhagavatam, the stories of God. Why do we try to tell our children stories of God? Do you know? It's because this is the way in which they can get liberated. But you don't understand. You think it is, oh, it's Cinderella, it is Snow White, it is this. Okay, inside out. What inside out? Huh? Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry is not Mahabharata, is not, Vyasdev's book. Walter Disney. He is not going to liberate you. He is going to make you, in the next film of his, he will make you a big rat. Is okay with you? No. So here, when you listen to the scriptures give you liberation. And that is why it is important for us to tell the stories of God to children. Even in Greek mythology or in the European regions, you will find that those are mythological tales. Okay? Jason and the Argonauts. Have you heard of this? Please read it. Beautiful books. And you may say, what is that nonsense? No, that is not nonsense. There is Thor, the god of thunder. Right? And there is a mountain, Mount Olympus. These are mythological stories, but they have a tremendous meaning. Except that today we are so idiots, we don't understand the meaning of any of these books. And we say, there is no Thor, there is no this one, there is no that one. We talk like this. No, these are stories, they have been written so that idiots like us can become a little enlightened. These are written for our purpose only. Okay, so here he is telling him the story, and Sukdev is now passing this knowledge on to Parikshit. So he sat with the base. So, and then what happens to this Bhagavad Puran? That is the next verse, 43. This Bhagavad Puran is as brilliant as the sun and is risen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Person who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. Here it is what I was telling you all along. This book has been written after Sri Krishna passed away. Okay? Sri Krishna has gone back to Goloka. And this scripture was then told to Parikshit after that. Got it? So this scripture has tremendous amount of meaning and knowledge. So he says there are two things which you need to understand. It is showing us the spiritual path, the path towards liberation, and also it is full of knowledge. This is divine knowledge as well. And this divine knowledge has to be transmitted to you. So the Bhagavad Purana or the Srimad Bhagavatam is as brilliant as the sun. It has got effulgence, it has got knowledge, it has got in-depth meaning. If you go back to my satsangs way back in time, about 8 years, 10 years ago, they were not having that much amount of meaning because I had never given these answers at that point in time. Today I am going slightly deeper so that this can be remaining for posterity. It's a digital media I am trying to create. I am not writing a book. I am creating this content digitally. Just like Eknath Maharaj wrote, or Sukadev Goswami spoke, right? Sutta Goswami told his disciples, who then wrote it further. In my case, I am talking to you, I am giving you the knowledge verbally, but it is getting decoded digitally also. So my YouTube channel and the other places, there are not kilobytes, but terabytes of data lying all over the town. Somewhere in the near future, somebody will look at it and say, oh, this is something very intelligent and important. The knowledge from the Srimad Bhagavatam is there. Maybe somebody will look at it. And that is how it becomes. At that time, only one person was listening, Parikshit. Before that, who was listening? Sukadev. After Parikshit, who was listening? Sutta Goswami, Sutta. And after Sutta, his disciples. Now his disciples then wrote it. Then it was written in such a manner so that today I am reading it. It is translated into English. So I am giving you an explanation in English. Maybe some of you will tell these stories to your children. And maybe somewhere in the future, this is going to bring the darkness out and it will give you knowledge. So the darkness of ignorance will be removed by listening to the scriptures or watching them or seeing them in a digital format. I hope this happens in the future. And that is why it is the Purana. O learned Brahmins, when Sukadeva Goswami recited Bhagavatam there in the presence of King Parikshit, I heard him with rapt attention. And thus by this mercy, I learned the Bhagavatam from the great and the powerful sage. Now I shall try to make you hear the very same thing as I learned it from him, as I have realized it. So who is talking over here? Sutta is talking to his disciples. And all these yogis who were sitting, all the great sadhus and the Santa Mahatmas who were sitting in front of him, Sutta is talking to them. And he is telling him, okay, I have learned this from Sukadev, who told it to Parikshit. So here I am giving you this answer. And this is the reason why today we are learning about the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is a very interesting journey. And this journey will be continued in the future. That is, tomorrow we will do the next chapter. It is called The Appearance of Sri Narada, Narad Muni. So Canto 1, Chapter 4, verse 1 onwards, we will do it tomorrow. So I will stop over here.
Recording stopped.